Welcome to the Tapestry podcast, where fashion stories are woven one thread at a time. I'm your host, Ina Korobkina, actress who played Luda in Dawn of the Dead, that pregnant chick who succumbs to a zombie scratch and gives birth to a zombie baby. So ironically, I have come back to life to birth this podcast, dedicated to exploring the blossoming world of creativity and beauty amidst the AI revolution. This program is brought to you by Jewel Branding Studios, a style consulting agency that helps you tell your unique story, one creative outfit at a time. Anja Lavigne, welcome to the Tapestry podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have this chat today about clothes. I love clothes.
I'm super excited too. I personally know a couple of people who have worked with you, and they benefited greatly from having you go into their space and help them out. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, this podcast is dedicated to exploring the transformative power of fashion and sharing fashion stories. I personally believe discovering our authentic style is a journey. It is a series of steps, moments woven together to create a rich tapestry that is our life. So I'm so curious to learn your most memorable fashion moments and how they color your work as a house coach. Basically, what you do is you help people design their space with intention, with the understanding that if you change your environment and your space, you transform your life, which is super exciting and super fascinating. Now, one of the spaces that we frequent a lot, multiple times a day, some of us, is our wardrobe. And as a stylist, I'm really excited to dive deeper and to get your perspective on how we can set up the space in the most successful way to have more joy and flow and pleasure out of that space. So my opening question to you is, what would we typically catch you wearing as a house coach? What do you turn to, and what are the things that fill your wardrobe?
Interesting question. And it's not just one style, because as a house coach, I have a couple of different hats that kind of merge in together. So if I am being called to a design client, I'm going to go a little bit more on the chic. There might be a blazer, a little bit more tailored. And in that kind of environment, it definitely comes through the energy piece, the intuitiveness. It depends where the client is at. So I really don't ever have an agenda with that, in terms of what kind of energy is going to come through, depending on what level there is and what comes to me. But in terms of what I wear, it's much more, very more designery, let's say, fashion forward. If I'm coming in because somebody's like, and a lot of my clients are female entrepreneurs that have their creative studio at home, and they're like, my workspace, which I like to call creative studio, is a hot mess. I'm having really difficult time in terms of like, getting inspiration, putting it together. So then I'll come a little bit more on a relaxed kind of look, more stylish tracksuit kind of feel, that kind of look, where I could go on the floor with what I'm doing because I'm going to go through all these different spaces. When I'm energy clearing, it's a little bit more flowy. And white is usually the color I wear because when you are clearing the energies of the space, you want to not wear a color where it comes to you. You want it to bring the energy out. So it really depends what I am doing. I do want to say that if I am having a home working session, because sometimes I am not with clients, I find myself right now putting on a lot of pink. So I think colors have changed for me, but I do find that, and I do like dressing up at home. Like I'm wearing a skirt right now. So yeah, so it depends.
I love that answer. So you're basically taking into consideration your audience when you get dressed, and you are mindfully figuring out how you want to make them feel and then dressing almost like an actor. That's
You know what?
fascinating.
I that's really so empathetic of you to say that because it's so true. I sometimes help elderlies to help downsize, and for them, they really need to feel comfortable. And so I tend to like maybe wear a little bit of blue to ease that down and then have this nice little dialogue first so they feel comfortable and then we can move forward with what their needs are. So you're right. I do want my clients to feel at ease, and there is an empathy piece to that.
I love that. Now, touching upon your personal style, so you have all these different archetypes that you play as you go out and help people clear the space. Because a lot of the time when we're working with other people, it's not about us, it's about figuring out who they are and how we can help them. So sometimes we want to dress not to distract, we want to focus on what's important. What is important to you as a style coach within your own space with how you dress, the pieces that you turn to, the pieces that you buy, the pieces that you add to your wardrobe? Because as a house coach, you understand that space is precious, flow is important. And so it's important to add pieces that resonate with your authentic self and create that flow and that joy and that beauty. So, what are the pieces that you turn to?
I feel like I'm like a bohemian romantic.
Mm.
So I love florals. I'm like, oh, once again, I bought something with flowers in them, you know. I love flow. I love the wide leg, you know, jeans and pants. That's what I would kind of call myself, is a bohemian romantic.
Were you always a bohemian romantic, or is that something you discovered along the way?
You know, it's a really good question. Um, I don't think I always was. And as I talked about wearing a lot of pink, you know, as my journey of going through my inner work, I had to do a lot of self love. And so I didn't actually like pink at one point, you know. And we're talking 20, 25 years ago. But so, yes, I feel that was not always the style that I was attracted to.
That's such a common comment that I get, is that most of us lose our authenticity or get disconnected from our joy at an early stage in life. I mean, everybody goes through something. There's society's expectations. We start living to try to impress others or try to fit in. We put on this identity that might not be our authentic self. And then we get disconnected from our authentic style. And that usually happens between 10 and 13, where we become very self-conscious. And of course, for girls, we go through a lot of changes and hormonal things. Yeah. So, what is your most earliest fashion memory?
Um, well, I have two, if I think about it. We didn't grow up with a lot of clothes. And of course, in that time frame, we didn't have as much as we do now, but we also didn't have a lot. And we did what we call vintage now, which wasn't, you know, vintage at that time. So there was secondhand clothes happening a lot. Um, However, and I was the oldest of four, but I want to say there's two. So in grade three, I was obsessed with this pantsuit.
Go.
I actually manifested without, I mean, I did a lot of manifesting without knowing I'm manifesting. It was something that my parents had to pay for extra, and I wanted to wear this at the picture, you know, when we do our annual pictures at school. And it had, and interesting enough, it had like a little bit of flower stitching. So there you go. Maybe I always liked flowers. So I just thought I was the bomb when I went to school that day, and I wore that outfit for, you know, forever. The other one was when I was in Germany, because I'm part German, is gauchos came in style. Jean gauchos. And so if anybody doesn't know what they are, they're like pants up to kind of a little bit below the knees, and they're wide leg. And so I loved those. I love those. So, and interesting enough, those both were pants.
Yes. And the memory, the feelings attached to it. So that foundation is there. You know what feels joyful, what feels good. So I'm imagining when you come across a piece that is extra special today, you know what that feeling is. When you see it, you're like, ah, it's the same thing that I experienced when I wore that pantsuit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. That's a great point.
Yeah. Now, as a house coach, when you start helping people to cleanse their space and organize their space, where do you start first? Is it the
Um,
wardrobe?
well, it depends where they're at because they it might be very specific. But I definitely work with wardrobes. I definitely do a workshop on the closet switch with the seasons. And in that time, there's different areas that I talk about. So the front entrance is very important because many of us have the front entrance closet.
Mm-hmm.
And in there are also a lot of shoes. So prior to House Coach, my business before was staging and design. And so with the staging aspect, I was going at one point to about 5 houses a week that were selling. And so I saw a lot of commonalities. And when it came to the front closet, the entrance area, and let's just say the primary owners of the home's closet, there seemed to be a lack of respect.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And it is very and was because at that point, or if I have somebody now, it is unconscious behavior. We are living in such a busy, fast-paced environment. And so we are unaware of some of the things that we do. And also, I feel that, self-care is a big conversation these days. And there is so many levels of self-care. And I feel that we're getting deeper and deeper because it's so, so important. Because when we take care of ourselves, then we can do for others. So if we want to talk about the front entrance closet, something so simple as having the coats, the jackets on hangers. Sometimes they're not even on hangers. Sometimes they're just like maybe on a coat tree or they're lying on the bench in the entrance. Something so simple as really choosing the hangers that you like.
Mm.
If they're all different kinds. I mean, some people love the hangers you get from the wire ones, because I've asked. But if I introduce something like the wooden ones, or be very interesting to hear what you love as a stylist, or the velvet ones. But if they're all kind of the same hangers, even the plastic ones, if they were all white or all blue, it just changes the energy of the space. And so with the staging component, when you're selling space, your closet, people are opening closets. So we always styled the entrance closet as much as the bedroom closets. So with the bedroom closets, more for the primary homeowner, not maybe so much of their children, but their own. There was a lack of respect in that closet. You could not pick out an outfit. It was jam packed. So, and clothes was on the floor. And when I do energy clearing, I just actually did one last month. And then I walked around, and it was a smaller space because it was a condominium, but she had a sort of a walk-in. And as soon as those doors opened, I can feel the intensity. There needed to be a lot of clearing going on at that point because there was, and here we go again with love. It was like this self-loathing, like, oh my God, what am I going to wear? Oh, this outfit doesn't work, and all of this. And so I stopped and I talked to her and I said, like, how do you feel at this point? Because I'm feeling it right here. She's like, oh, you know, like, and she just went on about, I've got clothes that I don't want to get rid of because I spent a lot of money on them, but I don't fit in them right now. Or there's shoes that I don't wear anymore, or like all like different things. in those kind of components, because we all have the different pieces. I spend too much on it, but if you're not wearing it and you're looking at it, what is the connection? It's not positive.
What feelings is it bringing up? What energy is it creating in your environment?
And
Yeah.
then what are you doing to your frequency? You're bringing your frequency down.
Yeah.
And our frequency should be high. And if we're into manifesting, which is, the word du jour, and I'm not putting it down in a negative way at all, um, one aspect of it is our frequency.
Mm.
So you want, like, okay, let's talk about Sex in the City when they open up the closet, right? Like we're all like oohing and awing. Can I just have a martini in that closet, right? Give me a Cosmo, right? Or champagne. So it doesn't matter what the size is, create that for you because you deserve it.
Absolutely. Now, how do you help them clear their closet? How do you help them organize?
Well, I am somebody who likes to do color coordination.
Mm.
So we color coordinate it, and I like to have the same hanger. And then go through what are you wearing and what not. And there are people that have all, well, no, we are speaking here in a country where there's 4 seasons. There's some countries that are not, right? And I'm sure there's some people who are listening to us that are from another part of the world. But wear the clothes, have the clothes of the season in your space. It's kind of a hot mess when we do the transition. And I know that spring is not there for a long time, but then we miss out on the spring clothes that we loved because we didn't put it out there.
Mm.
The other thing is taking care of clothes. Like a beautiful energy clearing also is you ironing your clothes. You're putting in your energy, and isn't it nice to open up with your blouses all ironed and then it's ready to go because you're ready to go. Um, Lingerie, this is a nice little ritual, getting ready for bed or changing your clothes at the end of the day, for bedtime. I think it's with our intimates, our bras and our undergarments, and if like how much does it take to fold it and put it away nicely?
Well, we're so busy. We live such busy lives, and our lives are filled with too many things. And so, as I was getting ready to have this interview with you, I came across a very fascinating quote that I want to share with you and get your opinion on this quote. You don't have a clutter problem, you have a storytelling problem. Minimalism isn't about less stuff, it's about editing the story. So becoming very clear as to who we are, what our values are, what our goals are, and expressing that through the way we dress and through the clothing in our wardrobe. So I'm curious if someone comes to you and they say, I don't like my wardrobe, I don't like what's in there, I don't look forward to getting dressed. What would your advice be to them? Do they get rid of everything and go shopping fresh? Or have you in the past worked with clients and helped them organize their wardrobe where they fall in love with their wardrobe? Because I know you said there's this beautiful thing that you said where you've helped people stage their home. And in the process of organizing their home and making it beautiful in order to sell, they fall in love with their home. So can we fall in love with our wardrobe we have without having to go shop and spend a fortune? What's your opinion on that?
Absolutely, we can. I think that sometimes we have too much. I feel that the pieces that we makes us happy is the pieces that really should be up at front. Um, I would be asking questions to them because it gets things opened up. So it would be, well, why do you want to get rid of this blue polo, for example? And then it's like, well, I don't know. I don't wear it that much. And then they start thinking things through and like, well, it could look good if I wear it with this, or, and then they start to think about the piece. And then there is a new energy in it. Certainly there are items in everything that we have, but when we're talking about our closet, there are items that maybe we don't wear anymore. And that's like someday, one day kind of story. Um, but you bought it for a reason. And here's a really interesting energy piece too. We are so excited when we go to the store and we buy something. The energy of a new piece. Now, if you start disrespecting that piece by maybe throwing it, like I can tell you, I've done a story on, it's called the floor drobe, where clothes are on the floor. Now, I'm pretty sure you can't even imagine that. And I mean, we both have children and they're different ages, and whoever's listening, yes, okay, definitely the teenager, they're known for that, okay? That we know. They have to have that happen. And we so gently once in a while get to go in and, help them out. But um, you know, adults do it. They do it. And what is the energy of that piece feeling? Everything has energy. It's quantum physics. It's quantum physics. Energy is all around us. Like, I love this. It came from Mexico. It was made by these women and their children. But if I just started, throwing it on the side, or, you know, like it would have a different feel to it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was speaking to Wendy Morrison on my podcast. She's a rug designer, beautiful rugs that sometimes take up to 10 months to make. Hand woven rugs. And I was talking to her about this idea of a soul being within an inanimate object. And she said, yeah, it's how it's made, the time and love that it took to make that piece, but also on the other end, us admiring it, us loving it, taking care of it. We are infusing it with love and energy and frequency. And so it loves us back. So yeah, fashion and style and our space, it's a much deeper topic than just like, oh, I put on a pretty top, I look pretty. Like it's past surface, it's past vanity, it's so much deeper.
Yes. And like when I'm going back to seasonal. So when you are starting a new season, and I'm thinking of something very particular right now in the winter season, and I have these two they're like turtlenecks, but I wear them underneath, and they're a little bit transparent. One is black and one is gray. And I remember when I bought them, I spent a lot on them. I mean, I guess that really doesn't mean anything because everybody has a different idea of what a lot is.
Mhm.
They're almost 8 years old. And every time the season comes, I'm like, oh, there it is. Like I'm a little bit sad with the black one because, the collar, I have to adjust it. And then I got a little bit like, oh, did I throw it away? Where did it go? Because I can't, so like how excited are we when we welcome those clothes back to a new season?
Oh, for sure. I do that with hats. I love hats. And there is a milliner on College Street, Lilliput Hats.
Oh, yes.
I invested in one when I moved to Canada from LA, a fedora, and I love it. And honestly, it feels like I'm welcoming a friend. Every time summer rolls around and I need to protect myself from the sun, the bright sun, I bring it out and it's like meeting up with an old friend. I love it. It's my favorite. So I can definitely associate with the feeling that you just shared.
Hmm.
Um,
What else is coming up for me is to do a real beautiful energy clearing of the closet is absolutely taking everything out and swiffering it because dust sits around. I mean, if it's a pack system, if it's, a built-in, whatever it is. I make a homemade spray where it's somewhere with essential oils and spraying that, in the drawers, maybe putting liners in. I mean, if you have sage. If you have some crystals, crystal. When I teach energy clearing classes, even a Swiffer, you can just take the Swiffer because emotions sit in the corners of the wall. So you take that Swiffer, swift the bottom baseboards if there are, take the Swiffer up to the corners, then of course mop it, all of that. And the interesting thing is that closets are usually closed, but when you have put the energy and effort in it, and you walk by it, you can feel the difference. You can't
Mm-mm.
see it because there's a door or a slider, but you can feel it. So doing that every season changes a lot.
Fascinating. Oh, actually, to add on to that, or actually to ask you, do you see a difference in people's lives after they change their wardrobe, their closet, and organize it? Because I believe in the observer effect, and then physics, there's a mirror effect where the things in our environment mirror a part of us back to ourselves, and a wardrobe has it's basically our second skin, the clothing that's hanging there. It's a part of us. And so if we organize it, how does it change us? Like, what are some of the most transformative stories that you have observed, the changes that your clients have gone through after they've done the cleansing?
When you're starting with that whole ritual of opening up your closet and everything is in place, and then you take out, like, you take out that blouse or that shirt and you put it on and you feel good. It goes back to what we talk about, the frequency. And when you feel good, your confidence goes up. And when your confidence goes up, you might even do something that maybe you felt was a little bit risque, but you are now telling yourself, you know what, let me try. And the self-talk is changing and the belief system is different. So you're moving to the next level of who you are. So I feel clothes are really, really important. And again, it does not mean you need to go and spend a lot. I remember one year my mom, in her later years, it was in the last 5 years, um, we went to her place for Christmas, and my sister and I looked at her and like, "What are you wearing?" And you know what? She wasn't feeling good. She didn't even
Hmm.
want to host. So my sister immediately took her. My bossy boots sister took her and made her change to something. She switched. She didn't like do a complete, but she felt better because everybody was dressed up. So, you know, it changes who you are. And there are people, I will speak about another personal story. There are people who devalue themselves, and they they shouldn't because they're important. And I don't want to throw my husband under the bus, but here's a story. So we were getting married and we were going to marriage classes in the Catholic Church, and they had a special service for those who were going to have the ceremony in a couple of months. And we were living together at the time, and I, of course, got dressed up, and I'm like, "What are you wearing?" And he didn't dress up properly. And it doesn't mean you have to be like dressed to the nines. And my mother-in-law said to me, who I love dearly, like she's not here on earth anymore, but she's like, "Why is he wearing that? Could you have not told him to wear something else?" And I'm like, "I did." And you know what? He then didn't feel as good. So at home, he was like going, it wasn't about the ceremony or anything like that. Did not feel it was about him. But if, he started putting more energy and thought into clothes. And now when we go shopping together and he's like, "Well, I don't know." I go, "What? Do you like it? I love it. Go buy it."
Mm.
And he's like, "Oh, I love those pants, and so he feels better about himself. So I hear people going, "I don't really care about clothes. Clothes don't make a difference or anything like that." I don't believe in that because you said it so well when you invited this question by saying it is like our second skin.
Yeah, is it fair to say that when we dress up nicely, we are loving ourselves. To clarify, the term dressing nicely does not mean spending a fortune. It's just taking the moment to mindfully put together an outfit. Colors that speak of your values, because in color psychology, our visual cortex takes up the largest segment of the brain. So a lot of colors have an instant visual impact on our viewer and on ourselves too. So what mood do we want to be in? Like green is reminiscent of nature, so that makes us calm or makes our viewer calm. White is, as you mentioned earlier, like it's a neutral color, but it's also angelic and peaceful and inviting. Again, mindfully deciding like how do I want to feel? What are the cues within the dressing details that I am assembling my outfit around that make me feel what I want to feel? So there's an art to it, and yeah, and that's what I love talking about.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I think what you do is so, so important because you are lifting the individual. Because I mean, we love shopping. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a high percentage that love to shop. But one, we maybe buy always the same piece because that's kind of what we gravitate to subconsciously without even realizing. And it might be the wrong piece, or why would you want 10 of the same? Um, and so I think there's pieces in our closets that actually are multiple or don't actually highlight us because we all have different body types and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. And my whole perspective is I want to get to the bottom of why people shop and the thought patterns, the belief systems, because a lot of the time we'll fill our closet up with items. We go shopping to fill a void. And it's an instant hit, it's an addiction. And so I want to help people go shopping mindfully and shop for things that they're actually going to wear over a long period of time that tells their unique story. So clothing that aligns with their brand. I typically work with people in the spotlight, people who want to tell a specific story with their outfit. Yes, people will come for consultations with me, but I find people who are in the spotlight and want to make an impression out there and align their messaging with what they're wearing are more likely to invest time and money in working with someone like myself. But yeah, mindset is a big part of it. Like, why are we going for that piece? I know for the younger generation, there's a lot of noise out there. There's Instagram, there's TikTok, and I see it with my daughter. There's certain brands she loves. Oh, mommy, I saw it on Instagram. I want that. I want that brand. And so the industry could prey on girls' insecurities. They advertise. I come from an advertising industry. I was a model for a long time. There's ad campaigns that are created to sell a product. And I appreciate the art of it, but I'm on the other side going, do you really need that? Does it tell your story? Are you actually going to wear it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so true because I mean, I'm in big belief of marketing. I think marketing is important, but programmed marketing, if we talk about the bag, it's not that big of a deal right now, I find, to have a label on it. But my gosh, it was so big at one point. And I can say that my sister-in-law had gifted me the most gorgeous Coach bag around 2005, 6 or something like that, because that's when I was staging. And it had like the pinks and the plums in it. It was stunning. And I tell you, I got every single job because when that bag went into a homeowner's house, they're like, oh, she knows what she's talking about because of that bag.
Ooh, interesting.
Yes.
Your
And
signature
so,
piece.
yes. So, and I love that bag. Um, but the other part that I want to say is just to have a label, I think that it's too much. I think it really does need to change.
I think that's the way we need to approach the closet and cleansing the closet so moment by moment, so mindfully, like reflecting on each piece. Because it's easy to just cleanse it and just get rid of everything. But reflecting on how much love did I give this piece? How much love did it give back to me? Perhaps it could be loved by someone else. I have pieces that I had close girlfriends gift to me because they're like, I bought this, I spent a lot of money on it, but I don't wear it, and I think it might look better on you. Try it. And they've been in my closet for the last 10 years, and I turn to them consistently. And it's it's just so special. I think about my girlfriend every time I wear this one particular piece. So
I
yeah,
love
mindful
that.
moments. Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
I love that. That's like that right there, that beautiful energy. And, from mindfulness comes being conscious. And when we're conscious, when we open up that closet, that says a whole lot more than when we're not conscious. When we're rushing or we're we are so distracted. And so go into that cupboard, that drawer, that closet. What do I want to wear today? What, you know, what will make me happy? Where am I going? And you're right about the younger crowd as well, especially with being able to order so much online. They're not happy with more clothes. And it's interesting the way we're having this conversation, right? We're talking about how clothes we both feel is important, is key because of what we wear and how we take care of it and how we put it where it is. But I guess when we have too much of it, do we actually?
We get confused. It's chaos, and we can't thrive in chaos. It's funny, like the statistic is, and I'm sure you're familiar with this statistic, we use 15% of our wardrobe 85% of the time.
I'm doing the 20/80 rule.
The 20/80 rule, yeah. And then, Marie Kondo was the hottest thing. I'm sure she still is, but when she came on the scene, my goodness, everybody started cleansing their closets. And actually, the girlfriend that I told you about that gave me the piece, she goes, there's some things I regret getting rid of because everyone went on a Marie Kondo cleanse of their home and just chucked everything and then had a lot of regrets. But they did a show around her. And if you watch the show, the very first thing she tackles is she goes into people's wardrobes. And oh my goodness, the amount of stuff, the amount of stuff. And so now it's coming to light that well-made pieces with quality fabrics, linen, wool, silk, not only look amazing on you, they last longer, but they have a higher frequency. Now they can measure the frequency of these fabrics, and they actually, when we wear them, they lift our own frequency. The ones that are synthetic, which a huge percentage of clothing these days are made with synthetic fibers, which are derived from fossil fuels. There's formaldehyde in them and petroleum and colors, and like it's actually touching our skin, and the skin is absorbing these chemicals.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you brought that up because it is very, very true. And I mean, if you speak to somebody of a different age group, they might have a different conversation. Depends where they're at. And, I did feel maybe 12 years ago that younger generation, they're the ones that started bringing bottles back, and you saw them drinking water out of the mason jars and everything like that. That wasn't an older generation. That was, a younger generation bringing in sustainability and really looking at what is in the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the products around us. And what about the people who are making the clothes, the sweat lodges, um, and clothes like that, fast food clothes, they look maybe good for a little bit, but they won't look good forever. Um, but natural fibers, absolutely. And that talks about a capsule wardrobe, which I think if we talk about maybe Italy, Milan, I would say I've not been there, but I've been to other places in Italy, but each individual has their own style. And it's stylish.
individuals. They're individuals expressing their authenticity. Yeah, I love that. Definitely. Yeah.
And so that comes into, I think, a capsule wardrobe. And I think that we are living in smaller spaces, right?
Hmm.
And so, I mean, how much clothes do we really need?
Yeah, we don't need much. We just need clothing that plays well together. So that capsule wardrobe that you were mentioning, they're of the same story because I believe there's 12 different archetypes. This is what I've boiled it down in my studies and my observations. And it's important to figure out what archetype we are and be consistent. Sometimes it's a mix of two archetypes. Like for myself, I resonate with the Athena, with like the athletic, active archetype, and sometimes the bohemian. So, and it's finding the cross section between the two and expressing them where it's not so different that it is jarring. So, one of the other things that I love about style and clothing is that it helps you anchor into a new reality, into the new character. So, we all have goals, we all have visions of the type of life, dream life we want to live. Well, we can start living that by expressing that through style and through the way we organize our space. Because the other thing is, yes, we can organize our space for a short period of time, but unless we tackle the mindset and what propels us to fall off the wagon, so to speak, what creates chaos in our life again, it's tapping into the root cause of the issue. So like, let's clarify, what are your goals? What are your values? How do you want to be seen by this world? Let's clarify that story that you want to tell. And then when we're super clear on that, then we can fill a closet in an organized manner, filled with things that really resonate with who we are. And so then we don't fall off the wagon, so to speak, later because we're so clear. We're so clear.
Yes. And this is what comes to my mind. And I'm just going to talk about the two of us right now, like what we do. Where we are in the economy, it's interesting because it's again the word it's a mindset. So if you think you're financially fine, you know, money's flowing in and blah 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 and all that, it could be in different streams, whatever. You know, someone said to me a while back, and I'm not disagreeing with them, but they said, you know, Anya, you're like a luxury service.
Mm.
So people are not, you know, going to hire you as much right now. I respected when she said that. I did. It allows me to really think about it more deeper. And I do not think that you are a luxury service. And I do not think I am. I think that we actually save people money. We have them go more inner, become more confident, become more conscious. I am telling you, when women work with me, their confidence goes up. And I've had this one woman who did a 3-month program with me on her home, and we did everything through virtual because she's in Mexico, and she's an editor, and she writes so many books and books for, you know, her business skyrocketed.
It's priceless. That's priceless.
Yes. So I am in complete belief that what you offer, the word mandatory is coming out of my mouth, is mandatory.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
I guess, you know, sometimes I channel, right? But it's mandatory because there's so much that and maybe because now we're evolving and we're getting away from, I mean, as much as you and I have are the pretty things, but it's not just the pretty things about our clothes and our home or our, you know, work studio or whatever. We want to be the bomb because we have passion. Like you said, this is your passion. Like entrepreneurs have a passion. So don't look like a schlump.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's that's what gets me up in the morning. It's what propels me, this message to people about clothing. We get dressed every day, we shop, we build our businesses, we show up. Let's do so mindfully and enjoy ourselves along the way. Why not?
You're an alchemist. with fashion. I'm an alchemist with home.
That's so sweet. I love the way you put that. Alchemist, yes. Or I like to say oracle. I've
I like when you said oracle. Yeah.
I've been refining my intuition as a woman. I've been tapping into the deep knowledge and not taking credit for it from an ego point of view, but just trusting. For a long time, I didn't trust my intuition. So there's so much power in just listening and looking out for universal signs and guidance. And so that's just basically what I do. Because, like, even when I work with my clients, I hate to tell them what to wear. It's always asking questions. What makes you feel good? Why do you think you don't wear that? Like, yeah, I never want to come from a place of like wear this, more of like curiously, gently guiding and letting them decide what they want to wear. Because it's got to be a very gentle process of self-discovery, and I'm just there as a guide.
Well,
And
yeah.
I'm
I
sure
mean,
you are too.
yeah. I mean, first of all, we're all intuitive and we all have different gifts of intuitiveness. We are also in the age of Aquarius, so the feminine is rising, so your femininity is coming, even the males are. And I'm not saying, I mean, we need yin and yang, we need the masculinity as well. Us as females need to bring in some masculinity, and that's where boundaries are coming in for us to like get our boundaries more and more in place and everything like that. But what you're doing and what I do when we ask questions is they are answering and then they're hearing themselves
Yeah.
answer. And then it comes out more. And so you're giving them the gift to actually think it through and then articulate. So,
Yeah. I'm so happy that we had this conversation because as I speak, I refine my own message and I find my own answers. So I'm very grateful that you could join me today and share your expertise. And I'm so fascinated by what you do. And I know that if people come to work with you, their life is going to be transformed. So I encourage all my audience to come see Anya and cleanse your home.
oh, likewise, likewise. I think that both areas are very key to nurturing ourselves and loving ourselves. And when we feel good about ourselves, oh my goodness, like the opportunities are just like all around us. And the more conscious we are, that's when we get to see things. So
We
we're
spot
here
the
to,
opportunities.
yes, yes.
Well, thank you for taking this opportunity to speak to me. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Tapestry podcast. Chances are, if you resonate with the content I shared today, you might be on a journey to finding your authentic voice and your unique message for the world. If that is the case and you're navigating speaking in public, then my Styled to Speak program is perfect for you because the outfit we custom designed for you together will help you make the most out of the 7 seconds it takes to make that first impression on stage. Speak with conviction and allow your signature stage outfit to add to that conviction. Visit jewelbrandingstudios.com to learn more. That's JEWEL brandingstudios.com.